Welcome to Ancient Echoes. I'm Taylor, cultural anthropologist specializing in Mesoamerican studies. Today we explore one of history's most fascinating deities, Mictlantecuhtli, the Aztec Lord of Death. Joining me is Morgan, my former excavation partner from the Teotihuacan dig site. We spent countless nights debating pre-Columbian symbolism over campfires.
Those were glorious debates, and tonight's topic still gives me chills. Mictlantecuhtli wasn't just some skeletal figure. He governed Mictlan, the Aztec underworld where most souls ended up. But how did this powerful deity's worship fade? That's our million-peso question.
Let's start with his origins. The name Mictlantecuhtli means Lord of Mictlan in Nahuatl. He ruled alongside his consort Mictlantecuhtli, pronounced Mictlantecuhtli. Their realm wasn't hellish punishment, but a neutral resting place for ordinary souls.
His imagery is unforgettable: skeletal body, owl feather headdress, and eyeballs dangling from empty sockets. Archaeologists found ceramic statues showing him with a liver, the Aztec soul container, protruding from his ribs.
That connects to the creation myth. Quetzalcoatl journeyed to Mictlan to retrieve bones for making humans. Mictlantecuhtli tricked him into dropping them, which is why humans have imperfect forms. This cyclical view of life and death was central to Aztec cosmology.
Rituals during Tidal, the Aztec month meaning contraction, involved human sacrifices. Priests wore flayed skins to impersonate death gods, but this wasn't mere brutality. It was about maintaining cosmic balance.
Now to the elephant in the temple: Spanish conquest. Hernán Cortés landed in 1519, 16th century. By 1521, Tenochtitlan fell. The Franciscans saw Mictlantecuhtli as Satan incarnate. They smashed his idols and burned codices documenting his worship.
The spiritual conquest wasn't just violent, it was systematic. Diego de Landa's Autodafes in Yucatan, burning Mayan texts, set the pattern. Indigenous priests faced torture unless they converted. Imagine being forced to denounce centuries of tradition.
Yet some practices survived through syncretism. The Day of the Dead, modern Mexico's iconic holiday, blends Mictlantecuhtl's festivals with All Saints' Day. Even the sugar skulls echo Aztec Tzompantli, skull racks from sacrifices.
Exactly, colonial-era codices sometimes depicted Christian saints with Mictlantecuhtli's attributes. The floral crosses in Mexican churches, weren't they reinterpretations of the world tree connecting to Mictlan?
Brilliant observation. This cultural blending shows why, strictly speaking, Mictlantecuhtli's worship didn't die, it transformed. Modern curanderos in Oaxaca still invoke ancient spirits during healing rituals, though discreetly.
Let's address the elephant in the room: human sacrifice. Spanish accounts exaggerated its scale for propaganda, but modern archaeology shows it was ritual theater, not daily occurrence. The Florentine Codex records only 20 sacrifices per temple annually.
Crucial context, which brings us to modern perceptions. Why does Mictlantecuhtli resonate today? From metal bands to video games, his image thrives while Huitzilopochtli fades. Death deities have universal appeal.
Perhaps because death is the last cultural frontier. Even science can't fully explain it. The Aztecs stared into that abyss and created poetry. Remember Nezahualcoatl's verse? "We come here only to sleep, only to dream, pure existential beauty."
Speaking of poetry, the Cantares Mexicanos manuscripts reveal survivors' laments. One song mentions Mictlan's rivers flowing with obsidian knives, metaphorical yet haunting. How did these texts survive?
Through clandestine preservation, indigenous scribes copied them under friars' noses. The Codex Chimalpopoca, containing the legend of the suns, was hidden in a false Bible cover for centuries.
This brings us to modern archaeology's ethical dilemma. Should we reconstruct shattered temples? The Templo Mayor Museum displays Mictlantecuhtli statues found under Mexico City streets, but some indigenous groups oppose disturbing ancestral remains.
A thorny issue indeed. Remember when the Aztec calendar stone was moved in 2020? Activists blocked streets chanting, "Our ancestors aren't exhibits." Museums now collaborate more with descendant communities.
Final thoughts? For me, Mictlantecuhtli's legacy is about cultural resilience. They tried to bury him, but he's still here, in murals, in poems, in the marigold petals guiding souls home.
And in our collective memory, as long as people ponder mortality, the Lord of Mictlan will have a throne. Thank you, Taylor. This was profound.
Thank you, Morgan. To our listeners, keep exploring the shadows of history. Until next time, stay curious.